All right, starting another build today. This is going to be a shed for my yard, actually, so I can get some of this stuff out of here, the lawnmower, scooter, snowblower, stuff like that. It's not huge, it's 6x8. First thing I need to do is build the base. That's pressure treated. That'll have pressure treated plywood on it. Then this is going to be a lean-to design, just 2x4 construction, T111 siding. Can't really see that, but yeah, whole project's going to be about 800 bucks and probably take me a couple weekends to do. But first things first, 2 of these have to stay at 8 feet and the other 7 get cut to 69 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that up on the miter and go from there. I got to move this scooter out first. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right, so got everything for the base cut, except the plywood. I'll actually do that when I lay it on there, but all of these are at 69 inches. These are still at 8 feet. So when we nail them together, it'll be exactly 6 feet wide, 72 inches by 96. So I'm gonna nail the box together now and bring it out, and then I'll nail all the center stringers when we get outside. All right, I just got all my stringers laid. 16 on center, 16 penny nails, just holding them in. Next step's just to lay the plywood, and then I'll just run along the seam with a circular saw to get it where I want it. But yeah, hard to believe it took me 3 weeks to get a permit to build a 6x8 shed. But it's coming along. Weather's not really in my favor. It's quite cold today. But sooner I get it up, the better. I need a place to keep my lawnmower and snowblower. Well, it's the next morning. I am kind of at a standstill on this as far as assembling it goes. The city has to come out and do a zoning inspection. It's under 200 square feet, so it doesn't need an actual building inspection, but they have to make sure I'm at least 5 feet from the property line. And I've measured this a few times. It's over 6 feet, but I don't know if my measurements are the same as theirs, this and that. And once it's assembled, I can't move it. And where it's just the base right now, I can pretty easily move it a foot or so, or 6 inches if I need to. So I might build the walls in the garage and just not attach them yet. I can't really attach the decking boards till they come out either. So yeah, waiting on the city. So I'm going to cut out my floorboards, even though I can't really attach them yet, just to get it out of the way. This, for some reason, is 1/2 inch too long, this plywood. Don't know why. But it's 96.5. So I'm cutting 24.5 inches off it, plus 1 3/8 for the width of my table saw, or my circular saw. So I just clamp a straight edge down and I just run the saw right along it. I found that to be the easiest way to do this. You could do it with a jigsaw. If you had 2 people, you could do it on a table saw. But where it's just me, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'll set this up on a tripod and see if I can just get a video of it. Don't be like me, wear safety glasses. So, that's that. Made the cut, got my 24 inches off. I gotta remeasure that because I don't know how exactly that's gonna be. I might have to shave another 1/4 inch or so off that, but yeah, should be pretty much good to go. Yeah, space is really tight in here, so that was a little more sketchy than I wanted it to be, but it worked, got the job done. Okay, so those are both cut to length. I just laid them in place for now. I didn't screw them down. I'm not going to until the city comes out. It's a little wide over here, so I don't know what's up with that. I don't think these are exactly 48 by 96. I know the length was 1/2 inch off, but maybe the width is too. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. So yeah, as soon as the city comes and tells me my setbacks are fine, I'll bolt this down, and I guess I'll get the walls built in the garage and just leave them there until they come out. So yeah, but there it is, full pressure treated base. Yeah, it's all also soaking wet. Hopefully this dries out a little bit. And worst case scenario, I can always just take a jigsaw and buzz this off if it becomes an issue, although I don't think it will. Yeah, that's where we're at. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the back wall. That wall is kind of short. That one's gonna be 5.5 feet. I may even go a little shorter than that just to give it a little more pitch. We get a lot of snow up here. But that would essentially make it 412. The front wall is going to be 7.5. So what I have to do is cut these down to 63 inches, 7 of them. So I'll probably go ahead and just do that. Then I can at least get it screwed together and set aside for whenever the inspector comes out here. So I'll probably start cutting these. All right, so I decided on cutting them all to 65 inches, which will, combined with the 1.5 from each of the top beams, will make it about 5'8". That should be fine for the back wall, and then the front wall I'll do 7'6". So yeah, I've got to go ahead and screw these together. I'm just starting on one on each end, pre-drilling obviously, because screws are going to tear this thing apart. I still can't attach the walls. I just heard back from the city and the inspector won't be out until Thursday. So I can at least get them built though, and then, you know, when it comes down to it, it'll just be a matter of standing them up and screwing them down and together. So it should go rather quick once that's done. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put these together. I do one on each end first, and then I just measure 16 on center back from each one until I have them all up. This is the back wall. The front wall will be quite a bit different, but we'll do that one soon enough too. And the side walls I might get done today too. So here's something interesting I wasn't actually going to show you guys, but since I'm doing this alone, I'm kind of cheating a little. This is a corner clamp, just to get my corners the way I want them on these walls. I got this at Harbor Freight for like, I think a couple bucks. It wasn't much at all, but I picked up a couple of them. Yeah, they're more for woodworking. I use them for like shelves and countertops and bookcases, junk like that. But yeah, in this situation it actually works out pretty well too, because it's helping me line these up. So just something I thought I'd share with you before I buzz these together. So I've got the first couple in, 16 on center, 2 screws a piece. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm actually using some leftover deck screws. They're 3 inches long. It does say on them they're not structurally rated, but if they're structurally rated for a deck, I don't know why they wouldn't hold a shed. I wonder if that's just for like liability purposes or something. I don't really know. I just like the star drive on them. It grips a lot better. Sorry for the background noise. Somebody's running a Bobcat over there. So yeah, 16 on center. I'll get the rest of these put in, and then this wall will actually be done. I'm doing 2 drills, one with the drive bit and my really shitty Black & Decker with the drill bit. This is a Black & Decker too, but it's actually pretty powerful. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up this wall, and then I can't really bolt it down, but I'll probably clamp it up just to get an idea what it's gonna look like. So stick around. All right, back wall is done. This just gives you a rough idea of what it looks like. It's 16 on center. I haven't secured it yet, so I gotta be careful not to knock it over. But yeah, height's about right. I went 65 inches plus 3, so 68 inches or 5'8". That's a pretty high enough back wall, I think. And then the front wall will be about 2 feet, well, probably 20 inches higher. So it won't quite be a 412 pitch, it'll be like 3.5. That should be fine for a shed this size. And I kind of over-engineered this. I really would have been fine going 24 on center for a building this size, but decided to go 16 just to make it last a little longer. So yeah, I'll probably build the side walls today too, and then stop. Like I said, city inspector won't be out here for a few days, so I can't really assemble it, because if I have to move it, it's got to be light enough. So that's where we're at. So I'm starting on the side walls. So the side walls, the top and bottom, are 65 1/4 from what I can measure. And then the actual beams going through them are going to be 65 even, the same as the back wall. So I'll probably get these assembled and then call it a day, really. I just have to make sure that one of the studs going vertically is exactly 48 inches from either end. And then the rest of them, it's not really such a huge deal, but that's how wide the siding is that has to screw to it. So yeah, I'm gonna get 3 more of these cut to 65 1/4, and then probably 8 more cut to 65. All right, all 4 of those are cut, and they're all marked top or bottom. Now I need to do at least 6 more at exactly 65 inches. So I'll probably start those now. All right, so first sidewall is done. Look at the bow in that 2x4. These are a little different than the other ones because you need one that is 48 on center from the very edge of it, and there's another wall there. So that one is actually measuring about 45 1/2, which will make it 48. So yeah, there's that. And then, I mean, these aren't load supporting, so there's technically only 2 in there. But yeah, that's where we are. I got to make 1 more of these, then I'm going to call it a day. Okay, quick update. Got the floor all screwed down. I'm just using 1 5/8 screws. I can't see them that well. Got the back wall screwed up there. I'm going to remove the clamps and put the side walls on. Then I have to build the front wall and the rafters for the roof. That'll be today's goal. And then I'll get it sheeted hopefully tomorrow. Probably roof next weekend and have it done. So yeah, it's only about 40 degrees out here this morning, so it's a little slow moving, but we're on it. All right, so when you're putting on your sidewalls, you just have to orient these right, and you got to make sure one stud is exactly 48 on center off, which is this one, because this is going to be a 48-inch sheet of plywood, T111, and then another 24 out to the end. So that's the way we want this one to go. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp it up and screw it down. All right, so now that I've got my 3 walls up, next I need to build the front wall. So I've got to cut probably 6 of these. I may only go 4, but I think 6 would be better. We got to cut them to 85 inches. I have a couple spare 2x4s over there, as well as the pile down here. I just have to make sure I still have 7 for the roof rafters. But then I've got some spare scrap ones up there too that I could cut to length, and I mean, they'd be usable. So I think I have enough. So I'll cut 6. Why not? Worst case scenario, I make another trip to Lowe's. All right, so those are all cut. I got my base and top plates out here. And what I do is I pre-drill the end studs, and I'm going for a 48-inch opening. So I measured 24 over and then back about 3/4 of an inch. And I did that on each side. So basically this line and this line, from there to there will be my opening. So yeah, now I just got to assemble this thing. So you can tell it's early in the morning because I made a mistake. I drilled my holes on the wrong side of this line, so I just had to make a couple additional ones. Not a huge deal because this is going to be facing down anyways, or up, but yeah, just goes to show no matter how much you plan, you still make mistakes. All right, front wall's on. It's not done. I still need to reinforce the door area. One thing I do, which, you know, if you're solo framing, it's not a bad idea, is I just use clamps to get the studs lined up before I screw them together, which I've already done, but figured I'd show you that. Just a useful tip if you're doing this by yourself. Yeah, so front wall is 12 inches on center, back wall is 16 on center. Those are the 2 load-bearing ones. It's probably overkill, but we get a good amount of snow up here, so I want to make sure it's going to hold. I'm going to run a support bar across here, probably at 6 feet from the base. I was going to cut this out, but I think I'm actually going to leave it. It's just a lip, and that'll give the door something to stop on as well. Yeah, and then I'll obviously probably every 12 inches run a little beam down to that cross support. So yeah, still some work to do on the framing. All right, front wall is completed and standing. All 12 inches on center, everything. I did go ahead and just leave that base in there. I may still cut it out, but it's there for now. But yeah, onto the roof rafters next. Hopefully I can get that done today and sheet it tomorrow. All right, so putting up my roof rafters. I'm just using strong ties. I tried making some bird's nest cuts and I could not get them right. So on the edges, I'm obviously using the hoops, and then everywhere else I'll get one of these to really hold these down. Probably should have gone this route to begin with. The extra $18 it cost is well worth it. I did split one of these, so I broke a drill out. I'm going to pre-drill them all. I'll probably have to flip that one over or something along those lines. But yeah, I'll get the rest of these put up. Okay, so this is really what I should have done the entire time, is just use these hurricane ties. I still have to bolt the rafters down, but I got them all up where I want them. I do have to slide them back. I'm leaving 11 inches total from bottom to the sidewall. But yeah, this was way easier than trying to make those cuts. I don't know why I didn't just do this to begin with. But yeah, I'm gonna finish up drilling and screwing these in and go from there. On the back, I can only actually do 2. They are offset, so you can put them through. But on the front, I can do 3. So I'm doing 1 on the back side and 2 on the front side. So I'm gonna get these screwed down and call it a day. All right, so I'm up on the roof here, attaching my plywood. One thing I do when I'm doing this is, where I can see the studs, I put a screw in on each end, and then I just use my tape measure as a straight line, and I'll just go up every 12 inches and put one in, and I know I'll hit the stud. Just a little tip. All right, got the sheeting on. Had to make a few cuts on it. I just used a circular saw for it. What I did was, on the outside, I laid a 2x4 with a 1-inch overhang, and then I roughly screwed up the sideboards and just drew a line with a pencil. I still haven't screwed down the roofing, it's just held in place. Each one has like 2 or 3 screws in it. That's just 15-30 seconds plywood. And I did make one mistake on this that I didn't even consider. This T111, it's tongue and groove, so you actually lose a 1/2 inch. Now fortunately the trim boards will cover that, but it wasn't something I actually even considered. So that might be an issue when I go to fill this section. But maybe I could just do trim boards there too. But yeah, same on this side. But you have to do that to get a good seam between the boards here. So yeah, like here's my seam here. So yeah, I don't know what, if anything, I can really do about that, but we'll figure it out. I got to put about 1,000 more screws in this damn thing. All right, so just cutting some end pieces to fill in those gaps on the siding where the roof overhangs. Just want to fill that in before I put the drip edge and the roofing on. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll go bolt it up. See, just fill in that, and then the drip edge will hang down to about here. All right, got the roof all nailed on. Problem with these lean-to roofs is there's no good way to really do the top end. So what we did was we cut a shingle in half and just ran the full strip on it and nailed it down. And then I'll probably just cover those nails with some black caulking or asphalt or something to just seal them in. But yeah, other than that, it's really just standard 3-tab roofing job. Felt paper underneath, drip edge. So yeah, hard part's over with. All I really have left is to build some doors. Welcome back. So onto the shed build again. Making the trim boards. Ripped just a 2x4 in half on the table saw. Only means I don't have a bandsaw. One downfall of doing this though is if you're off by just a 1/16 of an inch, you get that 1/16 of an inch mark. So there's that, but that shouldn't make much difference considering what this actually is. So yeah, these are for the sides of the door opening on the shed itself, and then I have to rip some more for the actual doors themselves too. So the hinges have a solid place to screw onto. So I got to make a few more of these. Basically, it's just 2 passes on the table saw. You lift the blade up, run it through, flip it over, and do it again. Which I'll actually have to adjust a little bit because of that. So yeah, I still have to do the top molding, a couple more for the doors, and some cross supports on them. But that's really about it. Then I can bolt that door on there. That's today's goal. I actually still have to rip the T111 in half for that too, and rip that down to size. Don't really like using this stuff. I don't know why I actually went with it, but I did. But yeah, so, but at least I can get the door frame framed out on the shed side itself. And yeah, just kind of do that. I need to rip another one that's about 56 long to go across the top. But that's no big deal either. So yeah, that's where I am. All right, so took a few passes, but there they are, perfectly cut in half. Strips on there. This is just the top one to go out above the other two. I'm gonna go screw this one on now, and then I'll have the door casing pretty much framed in from the outside. Takes 3 passes. I just do one on each side, then raise the blade and do another one. It's not perfect. I probably should run them through the planer, but this is a shed. It's not a finished project, so yeah, that's what you end up with. I always get this little line here, though. Not much you can really do. I'm also using a 1/8" kerf on this blade here, so it's not really made for that, but it works. So yeah, I'm gonna go bolt this one up, and then I'll take some video out there so you can see it. All right, so got all those screwed on. Yeah, just half 2x4s. Gives me something to mount the hinges to on the outside. They are screwed into the studs here, top, bottom, and this stud here. And the top one, I actually spaced it so it would go into the studs these are going into. So, and this is the door catch, basically. That's why I didn't cover that. Yeah. So now for the hard part, I got to rip some plywood so I can make the doors. I thought about just doing a single 4-footer. It would just swing open so far. I didn't think it'd be worth it, so I'm gonna go barn door style with 2 of them. So yeah, more work to do. All right, so no surprise to anybody, I'm sure. I don't have a fancy drive saw. So I measure out my lines, and I have a 4-foot level that I just clamped in place, and I'll just use the circular saw to buzz across it. That should give me my dimensions. If this is off 1/8 of an inch or something like that, it won't really matter much because of the overhang anyways. So yeah, I'll go ahead and make that cut real quick. I made easy work of that. Okay. Level stays right in place. Nice straight cut. That should work out pretty well. I may have to break out the table saw again because I actually need to rip this big sheet in half now. So yeah, that should be fun. But this I actually have a use for too. I still have to fill in the back overhang, and that's what this will be used for. This cut in half should be almost perfect. So I'll go ahead and unclamp this and work on getting the big piece cut. Got the first door completed. These are a really simple barn door. These trim boards are actually just a 2x4 that I ripped in half on the table saw. Hinges are 8-inch from Harbor Freight. These are going into the beam, and the first two on each of these are going into the beam. The other ones aren't. The back end is really just a box design with 2x4. Gives me something sturdy to put the hasp into, and it keeps it straight. There are some screws protruding, obviously. But yeah, opens and closes free. Goes full range, so should be good to go. I just got to do the other one. This one I put a little overlap on the trim board, so it'll kind of just come over. The other one I'll move back 1 inch, and I'll probably up here just put a little like flip down to keep it from, you know, the wind rocking it. And yeah, the hasp will go across. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I just got to build one more, close in the back, and we are done. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. I absolutely hate trying to cut large pieces of plywood on a table saw by myself. But yeah, that's kind of the situation I'm in today. Have the measurements set, got the blade height set. So yeah, I guess the only thing left is to turn it on, flip it up, and cut it. Like I said, it's not my preferred thing to do. But we're gonna give it a try, see what happens. Worst case, I gotta buy another sheet. I'll try to set this up somewhere so I can record it. This is not the most safe thing in the world. I'll be the first to admit that. All right, we're gonna start that over. Blade wasn't set high enough, so I'm gonna start that again. And I wanted to make sure this was down too, so the plywood had something to ride on. It kept slipping under. So, let's start over. glad that cut's over with. Holy crap. Okay, so that actually went pretty smooth. So now we'll just frame this thing out, and then I can get the hinges on and get it bolted up. Like I said, I absolutely hate making long cuts on a table saw by myself. It's not the safest thing in the world. So yeah, that's where we're at. So this is all I do to lay out the back side of the door. These are at 23 inches. These are at 63. This one's an inch from the edge, and this one's about 2.5, 2 5/8, right around there, overhang, just for closure purposes. And this is basically the whole door frame, and then I put the trim boards on after. The first one I put the trim boards on ahead of time, which was kind of a bad idea. It took me a lot longer than it should have. So this one I'm just going to frame the whole thing out first. I do have to run to Home Depot to get more wood. I just really need like 2 more 2x4s and I can finish this thing. So yeah, I'll get this screwed down though, and at least the framing part will be done, and then I have to rip my trim boards again in the table saw. But yeah, so this will just get 1.5 inch exterior grade screws going through it. I'm leaving it about a 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch on each end. Mostly just so it has room to expand, open and close, things like that. And this is going to be the inside, and I don't know if you can really see it because it's up on the sawhorses, but that's the inside edge of that tongue and groove. So the other one will actually close over it. When I put the trim board, it's going to go about 1 inch in. So, you know, we'll have to close this one first, then the other one over it, and then the hasp will just come across and lock it all together. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I suppose I'll screw this down. I wasn't actually going to use this 2x4, and I'll show you why. I actually stripped this out of an 8-foot pallet. So there's a couple nail holes in it, but this is a shed. It won't really make any difference at all whatsoever. So yeah, I'll get this one together, and then I guess it'll be another day before I get the trim done for it. And to do this, I'm actually just going to clamp this on and wind a couple screws through each one of them, and then I'll flip it over and put the rest of them in. All right, quick update. This thing is done. Started moving stuff in. Got the grill in there. You know, weed whacker, some fuel cans, mower, just some random garden stuff. It is pretty small. 6x8 is tiny, so we definitely have to hang everything we can. But yeah, the lawnmower and the snowblower are pretty much going to trade places in the spring. One will stay in the garage all the time. Might be like a 2-week window I can fit them both in here, but we get a lot of snow up here. Yeah, got the doors done. I made an error. I put this on here to seal it tight, and it works very well to latch it down. Gets a good tight seam. However, the door that's bending out overlaps this door, so I can't actually latch it. Didn't think of that. It's early. But yeah, all done. I still have to put a trim board up on each side. Closed in the back. So yeah. And I mean, it needs paint too, but that might wait till spring at this point. It's almost November. Doors are ready. Just got to pop a lock on them. But yeah, just a hasp, some regular old hinges. So yeah, it's actually plenty of room. It's just everything has to have a specific place. I'm gonna put some shelves up to put my my leaf blower and weed whacker up, or maybe some hooks so I can just hang them on the back wall or something. So yeah, it's done. All total, I think about 850 bucks. Probably 2 full days worth of work. I did get some help from my dad doing the roof. I was just gonna go with a plastic shed. Those are $1,000 even, and then you still have to build a base, so about 1,200. So I mean, it probably would have been the better option, but a lot quicker. But this one's okay, and it's wood, so I like it.